Hi, so my name is Jason, and this presentation is going to be on comparing today's science with the themes presented in the popular science writing of a book called Sparing Nature. This is a book written and published when I was about half of the age that I am now, so we'll see what the author says and where we are now with the science. Now, for the background of the book, it was written by Jeffrey McKee, who holds a PhD in anthropology and spent a majority of his career as an educator and is currently a professor at Ohio State University. He has authored over 30 peer-reviewed journal articles and has written 3 other books in addition to Sparing Nature, all on human evolution. To put this book into environmental context, it was published in 2005 when science was proving the emerging and growing threat of climate change. This was also during the tenure of George Bush, who at the time earned the title of the most anti-environmental president ever. Finally, during this time, a massive 5-year-long project called the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment was concluded, and it was found that our planet was experiencing major global ecosystem degradation and biodiversity loss. This book influenced environmental science in a few ways. Along with the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment results, this book brought additional attention to the global biodiversity crisis. It also spurred additional questions. Were early humans responsible for biodiversity loss way earlier than we thought? How does our use of the land affect biodiversity, and how much biodiversity is needed to maintain ecosystem health and the ecosystem services that we need? These aren't necessarily new questions, but McKee provides many examples, background, and context to the questions. The first theme that I'll be discussing is that our track record for killing off other species may have begun much earlier than we ever thought, to the tune of almost 2 million years ago. McKee ran population simulations based on the fossil records in Africa and linked an increased mammalian extinction rate with the rise of our Homo erectus ancestors about 1.8 million years ago. Now, this is one area that the current science disagrees with. 2018 meta-analysis actually found that there was a decline in species diversity that began around 4.6 million years ago, which is depicted here in the image. Which coincided with the expansion of grassland habitats and a reduction in the trees and shrubs that the mega herbivore species ate. McKee then goes on to link early humans to megafauna extinctions toward the end of the Pleistocene in North America around 11,000 years ago. The current science does agree with that for at least some species, not all, that there is a link to their extinction rates and to human hunting. The second theme that I'll be discussing is what McKee terms as the human wedge. Put simply, it's as our population grows, the space that we need to survive forces other species to the fringes, eventually leading to their extinction. The current science does agree with this, as a recent study showed that land use and land use intensity play a huge role in driving the estimated 13.6% reduction in species richness that we are experiencing today. Additionally, 80% of terrestrial and bird species are threatened by our land use for agriculture. The graphic to the left here shows a significant increase in land use for cropland and agriculture over the last 250 years or so, which also coincides with our population explosion. As an add-on to theme 2, while a reduction in human population is ultimately what the world needs, a change in our dietary McKee says that a change in our dietary habits could at least help to mitigate increased land use that is needed to support all of us. The science does prove this, as well, as one study found that if the world adopted a diet of that of India, which is high plant products, that would require 6 times less land area to support than if the world adopted a diet high of animal products that we have here in the US. The third theme that I'll discuss says that biodiversity is important to maintaining ecosystem services. By biodiversity, McKee means ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and even genetic diversity within species. One example that he gives is the development of many of our medicines today deriving from plant compounds. By his math, we could lose a new pharmaceutical for every 1,000 plant species that goes extinct. The science today also agrees with this, stating that at the current extinction rates, we are losing up to one important drug every 2 years. So, in conclusion, the themes of sparing nature ring truer today more than ever before, and the science is there to back it up. Human activity is having more and more of a detrimental impact on our ecosystems, and our growing population does nothing but compound the issue. We are literally and figuratively pushing other species into extinction, species that are essential to the health of the world's ecosystems, and are instrumental in maintaining the ecosystems that we depend on. So thanks for your time.